This is the Mentally Compromised Podcast.
Welcome back to the Mentally Compromised Podcast, your favorite podcast where we drink whiskey, talk about beer, and occasionally remember what the hell the topic was supposed to be about. You may notice we have a little bit of a different format in this episode. My previous co-hosts, John and Jay, unfortunately, their schedules got a little busy. They couldn't commit the time to it as much, but I promise you, and they promise you, they will be back to co-host every so often, so they're not gone forever. It'll just kind of be me and a new rotating cast of ne'er-do-wells as co-hosts, guests, etc. So buckle up, get ready for some fun, and hopefully you enjoy us as much as you were before. All right, well, my first official co-host has just joined me. I want to introduce everybody to John May. I would say former Marine, but they say once a Marine, always a Marine, right?
That's right. No former Marines.
John did wise up, leave the Marines, I think went to the Army, and then wised up again and went to the Air National Guard. Is that right? Is that did I get it right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You got it.
So John and I met almost to the day 6 years ago. Actually, it was in January 6 years ago. 3 weeks before COVID shut down the world.
Was it 2020?
It was 2020, dude. Yeah. 2020.
Why did I think it was longer than that?
No, 2020. It was logistics school at Lackland Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And it's funny because remember how Sergeant Resco used to make us do those early morning stand in front of the class to work on your public speaking skills. And one of the mornings she tasked me with current events, and I reported on the Wuhan coronavirus in China, but it was not expected to leave China and would not affect the rest of the world. Guess what? They were fucking wrong.
Yeah, and while we were there, it looked like that they had everything shut down, and they had the people out there. All those people got brought to Lackland, if you remember.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, I left because I had a family. I had a death in the family. And when I came back, they had kicked all you guys out of your dorms to use them for COVID positive people. And they threw you off base or something, didn't they?
Dude, I was 3 hours away with a buddy of mine who was stationed on Lackland. And we were at a brewery and we were drinking, and they're like, hey, you've got to come back and move all your stuff out. And I'm like, can I do it in the morning? They're like, no, you have to come now. And I'm like, okay. So I looked at my buddy. I'm like, I'm going to have to eat a loaf of bread and sober up before I drive on base. So as he's driving me to my car, I'm eating, bread to sober up, and then pack up and end up driving. I can't remember exactly where I was at, but somebody ended up breaking into my Jeep and stealing all of my training chem gear that I had.
That's right. I remember you telling you
I had to get my windshield replaced in the back. And then because I left straight from school to an exercise, and I'm sitting there and I got no chem gear because somebody stole all the training. Joke's on them, it's worthless. But that made me so mad I could not stand it.
I don't blame you. Well, listen, before we get any further, I like to start every show off with a toast. So
sounds good. I'm going to toast you with my little shot of Fireball here.
It's a
this
start.
Is for my buddy Mario. It's for you, bub.
There you go. So cheers to being my first co-host, John.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. Asking.
So, obviously you're drinking Fireball. I got a little Knob Creek going on today. Poured it in my nice little decanter here today. So
interesting. This was not planned. I also have a bottle of Knob Creek.
I almost
not opened it yet.
I almost bought the maple.
Yep. I'm super excited to try it. Everybody I've talked to said it's amazing. So I'm
crack it open, man. Crack it open. Let's see what it's all about.
We'll see. It's like
I feel like I've had it before, but it sounds amazing.
have you ever had one of those little kits that can smoke your bourbon?
Oh, I got one.
You got one? I got one downstairs.
There you go.
That's the exact one I got. Yeah.
My wife got it. My wife got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that thing too. I got a buddy of mine. We're gonna. All right, so let's give it a.
And I do have to say, this was not planned that we both had Knob Creek today.
It was
Complete
not.
coincidence.
Listen, I put 4 or 5 different bottles of bourbon out that's not been opened yet. One of them was a Junction 35, but it's like I bought it in Gatlinburg. It's a straight whiskey. It's not a bourbon.
Okay.
And it's walnut flavor. And I almost grabbed it, and I was like, you know what? I saw this sitting in the back. I was like, I need to try this because I've been wanting to try it. So I'm super excited.
Let's check it out. Take a whiff.
No.
Sip. Let's see what that tastes like.
Now, Knob Creek is a Jim Beam product, if you didn't know.
Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jim Beam makes Knob Creek.
We both got the round ice cubes too, dude.
We do. We do.
Great minds think alike.
It smells amazing.
All right.
It's pretty smooth, man.
Yeah.
That's good. If you've never had it, you should probably get it. That's really good.
I feel like I've had it before. Like I said, I almost bought it today, and I said, I'll just go regular Knob Creek today.
Yeah.
So, good stuff, huh?
I've got like 15 bottles of bourbon downstairs that I've not cracked open yet since we've moved into the new house a couple years ago. I'll go once a month. I'll go grab another bottle of bourbon that I don't have. I pick it up and just throw it underneath the cabinet and wait for some people to come over. Every time we get people to get ready to come over, my wife's like, I'm too tired. So I've got tons of bourbon. So whenever you're ready to head to Kentucky, man, we've got plenty of it here. I got a stockpile of it, so we're ready to go.
Sounds like the place to be, man. So Kentucky, I'm sure nobody noticed that you and I have completely different accents, you know? Mr. Kentucky.
Probably haven't. I'm a hillbilly, born and raised in eastern Kentucky. I do have all my teeth. I take pride in that.
And it's because the military made you keep them.
Yeah, they did. I had never been outside other than going to Dollywood. Used to be called Silver Dollar City, and that was in Gatlin. And then I would go to Virginia for some drag races that my friend's dad would go to. But other than that, I hadn't been outside of Kentucky. Visited Chicago a few times because that's where my grandparents live on my mom's side. So when I flunked out of college, went to Marine Corps boot camp. I'll never forget, dude. Like I was working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And I was laying on the couch, getting ready to get up and go work in my dad's coal mines. And I'm laying there. I was getting ready to get up, and I saw this commercial where this guy's riding this horse, and he's a knight, and he slays this dragon.
I remember those commercials.
The guy comes out and he goes, "The few, they're proud of the Marines." And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go slay. So I get up, I drive down to the Marine Corps recruiting office, and they're the only ones. Well, the recruiting center was all of them, but the only ones that was out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, of course, was the Marines, and they were out there PTing. And I walked in, I looked at them, I was like, "Hey guys, it's y'all's lucky day. If you can get me on a bus to MEPS today, here's my car keys. Hand it to my mom and dad. Tell them I love them. Get me out of here." So I went in open contract.
Wow.
And they did, dude. They got me on a bus straight to MEPS and got me out of there. So, and I haven't been back since. So other than to visit, that's it.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Yeah. I enlisted in the Air Force at 17 years old. My father was a Vietnam vet. from the Marines. He had to sign the paperwork. So I was in between 11th and 12th grade. So I'm like, what's that? What'd you say?
I said he had authorized them for you to go. He had to sign you in because you weren't 18 yet. Yeah.
Right. So he says to me, he says, you're lucky you're joining the Air Force because if you had joined the Marines, I'd have never signed the paperwork. And I was like, well, if I had wanted to do over again. He was like, I said, if I had wanted to be a Marine, I would just waited another year, Dad, but I didn't want to be a Marine. I'm not tough enough to be a Marine. I was a skinny city kid who had no desire for college and had no job future after high school. So I was like, Air Force was just a way for me. But anyway.
I went in an open contract. And I'll never forget. So the drill instructors, I graduated honor grad. I was the guide in boot camp, graduated honor grad. And my son, by the way, he also graduated honor grad, which I kind of call him out. He's my son's a beast. But anyway, the drill instructors come up and I'm standing there at attention and they're giving out orders and they looked at the paper and the guy looks at me and he goes, "You went in open contract?" And I'm like, "This recruit did, sir." And he goes, because you have to talk in third person, you have to say this recruit. You can't say your name. And he was like, "You're going to be a poke." And I'm like, "This recruit has no idea what a poke is, but if that's what the Marine Corps needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do." And he starts dying laughing. He said, "You're going to sit behind a desk all day and push papers. Do you want to do something else?" And I'm like, I mean, if you can get me to do something else, I'll do something else. And they tried to get me into another MOS, but apparently at the time, the Marine Corps needed a bunch of admin people, right?
Yeah.
So I graduate from boot camp, go straight to my MOS school. I'm at Camp Geiger. No, actually, I went to MCT first, Marine Corps Combat Training, graduated from that, went to my admin school, and did that, graduated from that, and I graduated top of my class in the admin school. So I was, I guess, a really good admin guy. I flunked out of college, dude. Like I went to college for a year, played football, flunked out of college, went back home and was working 3 jobs. And my mom and dad was killing me because like, you're not going to sit at home and do nothing. You're going to do something. So I was working 3 jobs. So I had to get the heck out of it. So when I graduated from my admin school, they're like, "Hey, since you're honor grad, you have a choice. You can go to 8th and I in Washington, D.C. and be in your dress blues all day and be with the president. Or you can go to San Diego, California, where they started this new unit called the 1st Surveillance, Reconnaissance, and Intelligence Group." And I'm like, California? Hell, I've never been out of the state of, Kentucky or Tennessee or Virginia. I'm like, hell yeah, send me to California. And when my mom and dad found that out, they were like, "Oh my God, you're good." Because they got pissed that I didn't tell them that I was going to join the military anyway. Right? So they came down for graduation. They were super proud of me. I went to California, this hillbilly accent, like I was the only white guy in my unit. It was all Mexicans and the black guys. And so they took me under their wing. So all the Mexicans took me to the Mexican clubs and all the black guys took me to these clubs in LA. And dude, I'll never forget. I'm in this club dancing with this really hot black girl. And these black guys come up and they're like, "What are you doing?" "Dancing with our girls." And all the Marines that were with me, they walked up and like, "Hey, this guy's with us. You don't mess with this guy. He's with us." And they're like, "Okay, man, if he's cool, it's cool." And it was a great time. I spent 5 years there, had a great time. Ended up, getting married and having kids and getting out, but then getting right back in because you couldn't afford health insurance.
Yeah.
But I went back in for the TRICARE, dude. I told everybody, I was like, "I'm here. I don't want to be promoted. I don't care. I'm here for the TRICARE, for the good health insurance. That's it."
I hear you. Yeah, it's funny because like I went into boot camp, Air Force boot camp. So I'm going to age myself tremendously here. I signed up for the Air Force in August of 1986.
Yeah.
I went in open electronics.
You went in 10 years before I went in, by the way.
I'm an old man, dude. I don't know why people want to watch this podcast of an old fucking man hosting, but
I think you were the oldest guy at the school in San Antonio, if
I
I'm not
was.
mistaken.
We'll get to that. But I got to tell you, I went into open electronics, and it was the same deal with the Air Force. They're like, well, if you go admin, we can get you right after graduation. I'm like, I don't want to be admin. They're like, well,
yeah.
we can't get you into electronics until January of 88. And I'm like, fuck. Well, I mean, if that's what it is, I'm not going to admin. So
yeah,
come like March of 87, they're like, hey, listen, it's still January before we can get you into boot camp. But again, if you go admin, I'm like, I'm not going admin. I'm like, well, we can put you on a waiting list. I'm like, whatever. I said, I'll wait till 88 if I have to. I'm not going to admin. Yeah. Graduate high school in May. End of June, I get a phone call from the recruiter. He's like, hey, Rick, I can get you into boot camp in 2.5 weeks. I said, let's go. So I went into boot camp July 87. Got out after 9 years as an E4. I was fed up with the Air Force. I was married, had a couple kids at the time. Still am.
Yeah.
But come like 96, I'm like, I can't do it. I think Clinton was president. He was shutting down bases. They were cutting stuff. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to do the military anymore. Plus, we were living in North Carolina, and one of my daughters had just started and slap your kids if they weren't behaving.
Yeah.
And my daughter got slapped one day, and my wife's like, we got to go. I'm like, yeah, let's just get the fuck out. So fast forward 12 years. Fast forward 12 years. And I'm like, fuck. If I had stayed in, I'd be retiring next year. Yeah. And I looked at my wife one day and I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking about going to the National Guard just to finish my retirement. She's like, so do it. I'm like, I don't know. A few months go by, same thing. I'm really thinking about going to Guard. She's like, Rick, you already said that. Just go ahead and do it. It's fine with me. You don't need my permission. I let it go. So I brought it up a third time. Then that's like 8 months later. She's like, Rick, do it or shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about it again. So I did it.
Hey, the National Guard is the best kept secret in the military.
It was fucking. So I had every intention of staying in until I was 60 years old. I loved it. Absolutely freaking loved it.
So did I.
I went to cable school, cable communication school. 40 years old, oldest guy in the freaking class. I graduated fastest pole top rescue time in the class. The old man. Then, of course, fast forward 10 years, we're in logistics school in Lackland because I got that AGR position at the time as a loggy. That's where we met, obviously. And like you said, oldest one in the class. And then, of course, I had to leave for that week and got put back into another class, but that class wasn't as cool as your class.
Yeah, but, our class was the coolest class. It wasn't good.
Dude, I'll never forget. There was like one Saturday, you're like, hey, or one week, you're like, hey, Rick, let's go hiking this weekend. I found this really cool
place. No, wait a minute. Hold on.
No.
I told you I was going hiking. You were like, because I never hung out. You're like, where are you going? I said, I'm going hiking.
Right.
And you were like, I want to go. And I was like, you don't want to go.
No, you said it's only a few miles. It'll only take a couple hours. I'm like, I can handle a couple hours. Dude, it took us 8.5 hours to get back.
It was dark when we got there and dark when we got
there. Yes.
And the next day, I remember coming to your room and you were like, motherfucker, I can't move.
I think my shoes were still bleeding the next morning.
Yeah, it was bad. And then
oh my God,
who was a lot younger than we were, he was shot too. But I told you guys, I was like, dude, I love to go hiking. It was a great time.
Yeah, but Dakota, he took off way ahead of us. He just kept. I'll admit, I was lagging behind, and you were good. You were waiting for the old man to catch up because I did lag behind at the end. But that was a good day. Otherwise,
that was a good day. That was
a good day. But,
so. I forgot to mention this. One of my friends, I was supposed to go in on a buddy contract. And my buddy, Rob, the Dallas Cowgirl Sloan. That's my call out for that guy there. Rob the Cowgirl Sloan. He was supposed to have went with me on a buddy contract. I left sooner than him. So he got pissed. He got mad. So he ended up having to go to boot camp without me. But he ended up going and ended up, I can't remember. He might have done supply. I can't remember. He's a good dude, but he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he loves watching them old Super Bowls on the VHS tapes.
That's all I got.
Yeah. So me being a Packers fan. But anyway, and then I got a couple other friends that are watching too. My buddy Chad, he was a childhood friend. We went to kindergarten together, preschool. Chad, the Forrest Gump Wells, he runs and runs and runs just like Forrest Gump. That's the dude. That's all the dude runs. His face is so weathered from all the running that he does. And then I got another friend. His name's Ronnie Kaiser. He's watching. He was a trucker, and he couldn't ever keep a woman because every time he'd be out trucking, he'd come back and all their stuff would be gone. So Ronnie, keep on trucking Kaiser. He's watching. And then I got one more friend. His name's Mark Cornett, but every time I call him, I'll hear him crunching on some pork rinds, and I know he's dieting. So every time he's crunching on pork rinds, I'm like, well, you on another diet? And he goes, yeah. So we call him Mark Chicharoni Cornett. Those guys are watching. Call out those guys. So appreciate you listening.
Oh boy. Yeah. So Kentucky, huh?
The stories there's some stories I can't tell from the Guard because people are still in it. My first deployment with the Air National Guard was during the Ebola crisis.
Oh.
And our colonel commandeered a 5-star resort, the King Fahd, in Senegal, Africa. Okay. Yeah. So we did three nights on and then 4 nights off. But we ran operations 24/7.
Yeah.
Taking body bags was our number one thing that we would transport into infected areas, and then we would ship doctors and stuff like that. But everything was ran out of Senegal, the operations into the affected areas. We were in a 5-star resort and sitting on the pool side, man, when we had our days off, drinking Mai Tais, relaxing. And some of the stories I can tell you from that, I can't tell because there's people still in the military. But those were the best deployments ever with the Air National Guard. The Army was the worst 7 years of my life, man.
Yeah.
Like I was field artillery. And all we did was go out in the field and sketch these sketches and then act like we're calling for fire. We never did, we were fisters. We never did get to do our MOS while we were in the Army. They always attached us to different units, and we would do infantry stuff. But the Marine Corps, I deployed for Operation Desert Fox and Desert Thunder. And we were right on the border of Kuwait and Iraq. And that was during Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And we didn't see any combat. We could have, but we were lucky we didn't. Yeah. So the unit, the shrig I was telling you about, we were like an infantry in a box. So we would deploy, take over an area, and the big Marine Corps would come in, set up to run operations, and then we would deploy to another area. We were attached to the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. And then we would take another area, set up operations, and then big Marine Corps would come in and run operations. That was your typical military deployments, but man, the Air Force, God, those were the best 11 years of my life. The deployment, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
The Air Force active duty was great. The Air National Guard was better. It was just, and you know, it's funny. You say all that stuff about all this, how the Army did all that stuff. You know, I can't tell you how many Sunday mornings we got up on drill weekends, hungover, feeling like crap, dragging ourselves to our vehicles to go ride over to the work center and driving by all those Army guys in full combat gear, freaking getting in their Humvees and marching. I'm like, thank fucking God I didn't do that.
Well, there was nothing fun about it. There was nothing fun about it. It was the worst. It was worse than the military. I'll tell you that.
I will say I do have friends that absolutely fucking love the Army. Good for them. It's not for everybody. You know, if you love the branch you're in, I think that's awesome. Yeah. I love the one I was in. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
The guys there, it was different. So, like the guys that I was there with, I'll never forget Parsons, Sean, Carter, all these different guys that I was there with. Those guys were awesome dudes. It was the leadership that was there that was god awful. And there was a little first sergeant there, and if I ever saw this guy on the street, I'd beat his ass. He had little man syndrome. I'd like to say his name, but I won't say it on here. But he was about this tall and had little man syndrome and yelled and screamed and this, that, and the other. But I do have a funny story. So we were at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, and they told me to go out in town and buy burgers for everybody, right? So the reason why, the number one reason why I probably didn't get promoted much in the military is because I love to play jokes. So I went out to Burger King and I bought 100 burgers. All right. I took a bite out of every single burger. I unwrapped it, took a bite, put it back in there. Took the burger out, took a bite, put it back in there. I was what you called a Blue Falcon in the military, if you know what that term Blue Falcon means.
I don't think I know that one.
That's my nickname, Blue Falcon. So I hand over the bags. I start handing out the bags, and I didn't. So somebody looked at me and say, "Are you going to get a burger?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm stuffed. I'm good. I don't need a burger."
I just had 100 bites.
I look at this one guy. He pulls the burger out. And he sees the bites taken out of it. And he's like, he wraps it back up. He sits it down. He grabs the other one out. He pulls 10 burgers out. All 10 have a bite taken out of it. And he's like, "First Sergeant, there's a damn bite out of every single burger. Not one burger doesn't have a bite out of it." And they all turn around and look at me, and I'm sitting there on the Humvee just, doing this right here. And I'm like, I just took a bite out of all y'all's burgers to make sure that they were all good. Every single burger is delicious. I promise. They got so damn mad, dude. I had to run and dig during that entire exercise that we were there at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas.
You earned it.
And I was definitely in a lot of trouble.
That is too funny.
But I was friends with some of the higher up NCOs, and we would sneak off and go to, there was right on the other side of Arkansas, I think it was Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, there was a state where they allowed strip clubs. So there was a strip club right on the other side, right? So we would sneak off and go to that strip club during the week, and there would be nobody there but us. So it was me and like 5 or 6 guys, and we're sitting there, and these girls are sitting on her lap, and they're smoking cigarettes. And this one girl, she starts dripping breast milk out of her boob because she's breastfeeding. Listen. The guy's looking at her, and she looks at him and picks her boob up and squirts breast milk in his mouth. He looks up at her. Dude, he looks up at her and does this. "Hell, girl, that tastes like a Marlboro Light." She keeps squirting in his mouth, and he's got breast milk just pouring down his mouth, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, good God. Like, who are these people that I'm with? So we make it back. We sleep for a couple hours. We get up, we do the exercise, and then we head right back over there for about 4 or 5 nights. We're the only guys there. So
I would not have found that funny if somebody did that to me. I would lose my shit.
Anybody else probably would have, but this guy from Kentucky thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
Obviously, a different guy from Kentucky.
It wasn't me. I swear.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
If that would have happened to me, I would have freaking died. I don't know what I would have done.
I would not. I would not have laughed about it. I would not have had a good time about it. That's just gross.
So you've not had anything comparable to that you could talk about?
No. I don't have anything like that, man.
Oh, God. That's good times, man. Military good times.
Dude, do you remember we were when we were in Texas, and I have to tell this story. So I think the whole class had gone to one of the karaoke bars or something, and I think Dakota was the possibly the designated driver that night. So I remember he wasn't drinking, but there was a woman at another table who was shit-faced and started talking to Dakota about her son. I don't remember if he was deployed or deceased or something, but Dakota reminded her of him. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that, but I do remember Dakota talking about how he found out that his dad wasn't his real dad through like 23andMe.
All right, that's a different story I'm not aware of. But this woman was hanging on him all night, and he kept looking at all of us and literally mouthing, "Please help." And not a fucking one of us helped him. She was crying, and her husband was just like walking around and watching her hang all over Dakota. And he was up by the doorway, and finally, I one of the girls that was with us, I don't even remember their names, when I was like, "You got to get your wife out of here and get her off my friend." But it was messed up. She was just hanging all over him, crying about her son, and I can't believe you don't remember that.
I don't remember that one, dude. I do not remember. We went to a lot of bars and we drank a lot of beer. I do know that.
Yeah, we drank a lot of beer on that.
We drank a lot of beer while we were there.
Yeah, good times.
That was probably one of the. That was probably one of the funnest schools that I went to, in the Air Force.
Yeah, like I said, I went to cable school when I first got back in. This was probably in 2010, and it was in I always forget the name of the Air Force Base in northern Texas, right near Oklahoma border. I don't know why I can't ever remember the fucking name of this base. Probably a mental block. But the class was three prior service Army, two prior service Marines, and a streamlined Marines, like just out of basic, and then three Air National Guard. And it was a really good class. We got along really well. I'll never forget one night I was talking to my wife on the phone, and so the three Army guys were two black guys and a Filipino. The three Marines were two black guys and he might have been Puerto Rican or something. I forget exactly what he was. And then us Air Force guys were all white. So I'm telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, the class is pretty good. You know, it's three Army, three Marines, and three white guys. And she gonna laugh at it. Well, I go back to class the next day. And I think it was like a Monday. I was like, oh, what did everybody do? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah, I was talking to my wife last night. And she was asking about the class and, you know, the people in the class. And, you know, I told her, yeah, the class is really good. I really like everybody. I said, you know, it's three Army guys, three guys from the Marines, and three white guys. And I paused. And all three of the Army, all three of the Marines, they start going, oh, shit, we didn't even notice. Like, it was freaking great.
Because that's the greatest thing about the military, dude, is that people don't notice.
Yeah.
They don't know.
But leave it to me to
We're
call
all
it
on the
out.
same
The white dude calls it out.
Yeah.
But no, they all had a great sense of humor. I know they could all take the joke. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but yeah, that was some good times, man. I think the 6 weeks at Loggy School were better than the 3 months at cable school. I spent a lot of that time just fucking playing PlayStation and not doing a whole lot. But
Dude, that we were at ground zero at Loggy School with the people coming in from Ebola because they were still there when we
COVID. You mean COVID?
during. I mean, yeah, during COVID
Yeah.
because they set up that big fence around where we were at that one housing,
Yep.
and then they weren't allowed to go anywhere, and people were inside there with the white suits, and we would drive by and we would see that, and they'd be like, "Dude, this looks like straight up something out of The Walking Dead." People, I mean, you were there for ground zero for that.
And what's crazy, that was in the 1 week that I came home for
Yes.
the death of the family. It was
Yes.
literally, I left and came back to a completely different base. It was so weird.
Because many people were talking about the Americans that were over there in China that they had to get back over, and they didn't know what to do with.
Yep.
Send them to Lackland, the training base for all of the Air Force.
Yeah, here's an idea. Let's send them to the base where almost everybody on the base is going to get sent out everywhere in the world. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's spread it.
I mean, it had made zero sense to me. Like
Yeah.
I could see send them to North Dakota, send them to Myanmar. You know,
Yeah.
why are you sending them to Lackland Air Force Base where everything happens in the
Yeah.
Air Force?
It was
Is
crazy.
Lackland.
It was totally crazy. Oh man. Good times though, man. That was good times. I'd do it all over again.
That was nuts.
I would do it all over again, the whole military experience. Did I lose you? You froze up.
It was. I would too, man. I mean, a lot of people too don't realize the being in the reserves. Can you see me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
You're lagging a little
How
bit.
about
but I
now?
got
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Still frozen?
No,
Okay. Gotcha. A lot of people don't realize too. Go ahead.
I think go ahead. Try and tell your story again. Go ahead.
We good?
Yeah, I think we should be good. Let's see what happens.
Okay. A lot of people don't realize too that my son was active duty and he was giving me a hard time about, being in the guard, the reserves. But reservists and guard members have to maintain an active duty standard while living a civilian lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's hard and it's more stressful because we don't get paid to PT. We don't get paid to study for all the tests that you have to take to level up.
Yeah.
So I was an area porter, a 7 level, and then I go back to school to be a logistics guy and I have to start all over again, get another 5 level, get another 7 level to even be considered for promotion.
Yeah.
And then all the ME that you got to go to be able to get promoted. And you got to maintain your PT standards and all of the other things while living a civilian lifestyle. And you get 1 week, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year to maintain that.
Yeah. I can remember being active duty and the National Guard coming in once a month. Every month we have like, oh, the weekend warriors are here. They're coming to play military. And then I became one of those weekend warriors. I'm like, fuck you guys. This is just as hard.
I mean, even in the Army, because you went to big Army schools.
Yeah.
Like I was a combative instructor in the Army. I went to the big Army combative schools, got my ass beat by active duty instructors, went to, 13 Fox School, active duty school, all these schools were active duty schools that we went to. They weren't reserve schools. They weren't schools that were put on by part-timers. You were at active duty bases doing these active duty schools.
Right.
And same thing to the Air Force. Like,
Yeah.
I went to PME. The only one I went to that was when I was a tech sergeant and went down to the one PME school with all the tech sergeants. That was at Tyson McGee down in
UNCL
Tennessee.
Academy, right?
UNCL Academy, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go to that one. I ended up deciding to retire and didn't even bother.
Yeah.
So I think I'm losing you again.
But everything else, man, was at an active duty base doing active duty stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. All right. Well, it looks like our connection's getting a little spotty.
Gotcha.
So I always like to close every show with one more toast. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to do one more toast. So John, I got to get some more formal toast, but I want to thank you for joining us. It was great hearing your stories. Maybe we'll see you again on the show sometime. That'd be awesome, right?
It would be. Hey, I miss you. You're a good friend. You'll always be a good. You ever need anything from me, buddy, you know where I'm at.
Hey, man. Same goes for me. You ever find yourself up? I know you travel a lot. You ever find yourself up in the New England area, man? You gotta call me.
Hey, listen, lobster rolls. That's all I gotta say. Lobster rolls.
You're not gonna get them any better than you get them here, brother.
That's exactly right.
Do you even have seafood in Kentucky? Do you even have seafood in Kentucky?
We do. It's fresh out of the lake. Largemouth bass.
It's frozen.
That's it.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. Cheers, brother.
All right, man. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anytime. I look forward to talking to you again.
See you, man.
All right. Take care, brother. All right. That's it for this episode of the Mentally Compromised Podcast. Now, I want to hear from you. What are you drinking tonight? Whiskey, beer? Drop it in the comments. You got a topic you want us to talk about? A drink you want reviewed? A story I should talk about? Let me know. Maybe it'll make it into an episode. You never know unless you try. So, remember, like, share, comment. Let everybody know about us. And until next time, keep your whiskey neat, your beer cold, and your opinions questionable. Take care, folks.